When I started my natural hair journey, there were really only a couple of brands I kept hearing about on YouTube. First, it was Diva Curl. Then it was Shea Moisture. But after that, I felt like new curly hair brands started appearing everywhere. More products, more companies, more influencers talking about them, and it made me wonder, did all of these brands really appear overnight? Or had they been there all along? We've already looked at the history of Diva Curl and Shea Moisture, but today I want to zoom out and look at the bigger picture. How did the curly hair industry grow into what we see today? And what role does social media really play? Before we talk about why curly hair brands seem to appear everywhere, it's important to understand that texture hair care didn't suddenly begin in the 2010s. Long before YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok, there were already black owned companies, beauty supply stores, salons, and communities sharing knowledge about caring for texture hair. Many of the ingredients that became popular during the natural hair movement, like shea butter, African black soap, castor oil, coconut oil, and aloe vera, had already been used for generations. For many families, this wasn't a new discovery. It was knowledge that had been passed down long before social media existed. Growing up, I remember watching my grandmother cut open an aloe vera leaf and rub the gel directly onto her scalp. As a kid, I didn't really understand why she was doing it. But it wasn't until the natural hair movement that I started learning about ingredients like aloe vera and why she had been using them all along. As interest in texture hair care continued, companies serving that community also continued to grow. By the 1990s, many brands serving textured hair had already become established, and new companies continued entering the market. Brands like Carol's Daughter, Mazzani, ORS, African Pride, Dark and Lovely, and others had built a strong following, particularly within the Black communities and professional salons. But outside of those spaces, many customers had never heard of them. At the time, discovering new products looked very different. Most people learn about them through family, friends, their hairstylists, or by walking through a local beauty supply store. Information spread much more slowly than it does today. As the natural hair movement continued to grow, it became about more than products. For many women, wearing their natural hair was also about identity, representation, and challenging long held beauty standards. It wasn't unusual to see natural hairstyles represented in black television and popular culture in the 90s. But representation on TV didn't always match what people experienced in schools or the workplace. For many women, wearing their natural hair was still seen as less professional, and some felt pressure to straighten it to fit those expectations. That made the natural hair movement about much more than learning a new routine. As internet access became more common in the late 1990s and early 2000s, the way people shared information started to change. Online forums, message boards, blogs, and photo sharing communities gave people new places to discuss textured hair, compare products, share routines, and document their progress. For the first time, someone who didn't have a natural hair specialist, a supportive community, or many product options nearby could connect with people experiencing the same challenges. They could ask questions, learn new techniques, and see examples of natural hair outside of their immediate circle. This is definitely where the shift in visibility really started. The knowledge was already there, but the internet made it easier for people to find each other, share what they knew, and realize they weren't alone in trying to understand their natural hair. These early online communities also gave consumers a way to talk openly about what was missing from the market. People shared which products worked, which ones didn't, and what they wished brands would create. That growing conversation helped make the demand for texture hair products much harder for the beauty industry to ignore. By the late 2000s and into the early 2010s, the natural hair movement began reaching a much wider audience. More people started transitioning away from chemical relaxers and learning how to care for their natural texture. For some, it was a personal choice. For others, it was also a cultural shift. At the same time, platforms like YouTube completely changed how information spread. Instead of reading about someone's routine, you could watch their entire wash day, see the products they were using, and follow their progress over months or even years. For the first time, millions of people weren't just learning about natural hair, they were learning from each other. Someone on the other side of the country, or even the other side of the world, could influence your entire routine. Creators began sharing wash days, product reviews, styling tutorials, big chop journeys, and monthly updates. Many viewers found someone whose hair looked like theirs, followed their routines, and discovered products they might never have found otherwise. As those videos reached more people, consumer demand grew rapidly. Retailers noticed, brands noticed, and the curly hair market began expanding faster than ever before. As interest in natural hair continued to grow, so did the demand for products designed for texture hair. Some companies expanded their existing product lines. Others launched entirely new brands, hoping to meet the demands of a rapidly growing market. Retailers also began paying closer attention. Stores that once carried a handful of curly hair products started dedicating entire sections to texture hair care. For many consumers, it was the first time they could walk into a major retailer and see so many options in one place. And I think that's why it felt like curly hair brands appeared overnight. In reality, many of them had already existed. Others were brand new, but for the first time, they were all becoming visible at the same time. The growth also encouraged new entrepreneurs, professional stylists, and eventually celebrities to launch their own brands. Some focused on specific curl patterns, others specialized in ingredients, scalp care, and protective styling. The market became more diverse than ever before. Social media continued to accelerate that growth. Instead of relying only on television commercials or magazine ads, brands could now reach consumers through creators, product reviews, tutorials, and everyday routines. That's one of my favorite parts about where the industry is today. There isn't just one brand, or one routine, or one way to care for your curls. We have access to ideas, products, and techniques from all over the world. And I think that's made curly hair care more inclusive than it's ever been. Today, the curly hair industry looks very different than it did 20 or 30 years ago. Consumers have more choices than ever before, from large, well established companies to small independent brands focused on specific hair needs. Social media has also changed how brands grow. A product can go viral overnight. A small business can reach millions of people without ever running a television commercial. And consumers can hear real experiences from creators around the world before deciding what to buy. It's also made discovering brands from other countries much easier. Today, it's common to learn about products in Brazil, the Caribbean, the United Kingdom, South Africa, and many other places, giving consumers access to routines and ingredients they may have never discovered otherwise. The curly hair industry evolved because more people embraced their natural texture, more stories were shared, more brands were discovered, and more companies recognized there was a community that had been there all along. And understanding that history helps us appreciate just how far the curly hair community has come. If you've enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe. Then, check out the companion blog post link below, where I'll include additional resources, a timeline, and some of the brands that help shape the curly hair industry. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.